Hello Twin Flames, this is Victoria and I'm here with your daily energy check. As you can see, I'm back home in New York now. All hunky-dory, all ready for the summer season. Luckily, just a few days before the pool opens and it's sunny and warm outside, so all good. And I've got all my decks back that I can use. So let's get started right away. We're gonna take a look traditionally what's happening with, first of all, I'm gonna pull an oracle card, and since we are talking about summertime, I decided to use the Whispers of the Ocean deck today. I'm gonna pull a card for feminine and masculine, so we can get a vibe of what's going on, what do we need to know about, and how about we make it, since it's the beginning of the week, the vibe of the week, right? What is happening this week? And then we'll get some tarot cards for the energy check for feminines and masculines, and what is going on in the connection. Today I'm being asked to look up the answer to the question, what kind of lessons are the twins mastering this week? So that's going to be the second question we're going to take a look. We are going to look at, there you go, English, Victoria, English. And I also have my Hermit Tarot cards, so I'm gonna pull some cards with messages between the twins towards the end. All right, let's get going. If you like what I'm doing, don't forget to click the like button, to subscribe to my channel, to leave a comment. It helps me circulate these messages with more people. All right, let's see. We'll pull a card for the feminine first. Okay. Of course, my favorite table that helps the cards just fly away. Inner desires. Set some intentions. You're entering a phase of plenty or may have a sudden windfall. Goals are within your grasp. How great to hear a message like that, right? Goals are within your grasp. We actually had similar message in the last few days for Divine Feminines to start like anchoring some of those energies of abundance, of happiness, of success, of luck, whatever that is for you, whatever that vision is, right? To anchor it into something more specific and to set some intentions for yourself, right? And remember that whole idea with the universe needs to know what you're looking for to give it to you. It doesn't mean it's exactly gonna be like that. So that's like the thin line where you shouldn't go into too much detail, but at least give a general sense of it, and not just like dream about it or write it down, but start taking action towards it. That's the part that a lot of people are missing. Remember that. Just a quick reminder. Okay, let's see what we have for the masculines. Okay, the light declaration, number 19. You can move in whatever direction you need to accomplish your goals. It is time for you to get out there, claim what is yours, and stay in your power. Yeah, polite declaration, meaning that claim what is yours, be polite and respectful at the same time, right? Like, you know, again, there is a certain thin line, like what is beneficial. Not everything that is permissible is beneficial, right? So it's this like middle ground where you're declaring, look how nice it looks on this background. You're declaring what you're looking for, what is yours, you know, whether it's your career ambition, it's your home, it's your possessions, it's your values, right? What you believe in, but still stay respectful and diplomatic with that. You can do that. Sometimes we're not brave enough, or we don't go out and declare what we believe is true because we feel like it's gonna hurt other people's feelings. So maybe think about it a little, Divine Masculine, before you go out there, especially since we're still in the Mercury retrograde. So people may not hear your words the way you want them to sound, right? That's the only thing, right? Maybe wait a little, I don't know. Maybe you can say it to them in writing, and that way it's easier for you. We're all different, right? So think about it a little, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it at all. Okay, I'm doing the Grand Deluxe Tarot today, and look what we got on the bottom of the deck right away. Four of Wands. There you go. So what are the energies like for Divine Feminine this week? The last week of May, basically. Ooh, Three of Swords. I'll pull some clarifiers. What about Divine Masculines? To me, that's almost like Four of Swords actually in that deck, but we'll see. Page of Wands for the masculines. Yeah, it's that declaration energy. What kind of lessons are the Divine Feminine's masculine mastering this week? Are they masculine? Maybe sometimes, right? Whoa. We have Ace of Swords. Speaking the truth. Being authentic. That's a huge deal, especially during Mercury retrograde. We're just talking about it. Okay. What about the masculines? What are they mastering this week? What kind of lessons are they learning on their twin flame journey? For masculines watching this video, or for their cross watchers, Divine Feminines to know. All right. Wow. King of Coins. That's pretty cool. Both of these are actually. Okay, I'm gonna stop here because I want to leave time for the message. We have Ten of Swords at the bottom of the deck. Let's pull some clarifiers. I'm hearing the phrase, stop punishing yourself. Somebody needed to hear that. If you're punishing yourself for something you've done, it doesn't mean that necessarily, I'm not saying that you were right, you were wrong. Regardless, something happened. Our opinion about it, whether it's right or wrong, is quite subjective anyway. Remember that you are going through a learning path on this planet, right? You're learning, you're supposed to experience things. And both subjectively positive and negative experiences are important. And the most important part is not to linger in specific events for too long, especially if they're negative, right? If they are nurturing you, they're inspiring you, why not? You can go back to those. But if they're negative, if they're giving you some negative feelings in your body emotionally, then definitely it's a big flag that that's something to work on. It's something to look at. And it's not supposed to be like that. And I'm talking about any and every level of any kind of misconduct you may think about. And I mean, you know, like some people commit crimes, you know, but it's still very important. I'm not saying it doesn't mean anything and you should just move on as if nothing happened, right? Whatever you feel is the right way to kind of pay it back energetically, right? To do the reciprocity, to cleanse the karma on this, do it. And there are, again, so many different techniques and ways that you can do good to kind of rebalance the scales after doing something wrong. But there's no way that you should be living in that energy, feeling guilty and ashamed and punishing yourself for that. And sometimes we punish ourselves by restricting our relationships, by not allowing ourselves to go for something big and beautiful, right? And that energetically, of course, sends a message to the universe. So yeah, it's important, big time. Eventually, it may be ruining your health as well. So, and nobody wants you to do that. Like the divine, the universe, your higher power, they don't want you to go through that. That's not the point. It's basically meaning that you still keep learning the lesson, but you know, with time it gets more and more painful because it accumulates that negativity, that burden that we're talking about, right? Or pain, as we see here in Ten of Swords. Yeah, that's what I needed the time for. Got it. Let's clarify Three of Swords for the feminines. All right. Actually, I got 3 cards, but I'll keep them all. Let's clarify Page of Wands. Also 3 cards. Nice. Let's clarify Ace of Swords. of the lessons that feminines are learning this week. And maybe for those of you who I was just talking to about the guilt and shame, for you, this Ace of Swords is about like admitting the truth to yourself. That, Pair of Swords, yeah, that you've suffered enough, that it's just as painful on you, as hard on you as it is on other people involved. And it's time to stop that. So nobody's benefiting from it. And if you're a twin flame punishing yourself, then definitely other people are suffering from it. I've seen it through my whole life. And because I've been abused my whole childhood, right? I lived, that was like almost my permanent state where I lived was guilt and shame. And I know so well how much those feelings in me negatively impacted people around me, just energetically, without even me doing anything extra for that. So think about it that way. I mean, of course, your biggest motivation should be to get into a balanced state for yourself, right? It's the act of self-love. But if that is not good enough for you, then think about, what it's doing to everybody else around you. Please clarify Queen of Coins for the lessons masculines are learning. Okay. Bottom of the deck, Nine of Wands. Yeah, there's a little bit of fear to let go of that painful experience, to close out certain cycles. Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't say that new moon is, well, actually it kind of is around the corner. It's a week away from us. Yeah, so we have this few days this week, and I guess that's the general message for this week for the twins. We have these few days in this coming week where we can really do a lot of good for ourselves, for others, in terms of getting rid of this guilt and shame, whatever that means for our own story, and letting go of these patterns. Or for some of us, if that's been done, not being afraid or letting go of the fear to go for something where we express ourselves, where we show ourselves to others in a new and beautiful way without looking back to that. Yeah, I have Magician underneath of Nine of Wands. Stepping into Magician role. Excuse me. So oh wow, interesting. For the Three of Swords that the Divine Feminines have for this week in their energy, we have Death, Four of Cups, and Page of Swords. Yeah, this is big time healing time. Big time healing time. And this is obviously, it means to me that the healing comes, or what can cure the broken heart? It's the transformation in the mindset. It's transformation from, I feel sorry for myself, or I feel hurt because I've had unrequited love in my life. And twins usually have more than one of those relationships to speak to. And instead going into, I'm still learning how to do this right, how to be my authentic self, but this feels good and I want to stay in this energy rather than in this one, right? That's the transformation. And I'm not saying, and again, from my own experience, it's not going to disappear just like that, just because you said it in one day. It may, to a certain extent, live with you, going forward, because you'll have new experiences like that, where your heart may get broken in a new way. That's life, right? We are human. That's what happens. But the important part is progress, is bigger awareness, right, of what's going on, of what triggers you, of what you're here to learn, what is love versus fear or pain, right? That's the transformation in the mindset. The more you experience these things, the more you understand them firsthand. And of course, eventually, the more you can help other people with it. But first of all, master it for yourself. So if you don't feel you're in a strong space right now, take care of yourself this week. We had it yesterday with the self-care, right? The milk and honey. I feel like this still is relevant for for today and for this week. For masculines, we have Page of Wands, clarified by Queen of Pentacles, Ace of Cups, and Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, so there is certain excitement in divine masculine energy. And I feel like what they're claiming for themselves is that they deserve this fated partnership, fated love for themselves, right? They may or may not realize that it is with you specifically, divine feminine, but they definitely determined to work towards the highest love, or the higher love, right? Understanding that not everything is great, that they've been hurt, they've been burned in love, but it doesn't stop them from going towards happy family life, towards this feeling that's going to be overwhelming and in a good way. And you can bathe in that wonderful feeling of love for yourself and for your partner. And that they believe that the universe is going to co-create. And that's a really important part. When you show up, the universe co-creates with you, right? So they do have this kind of student-like energy where they're, you know, excited when a student starts a new course that they're excited about. It's like first day of school for someone who loves school. And it's a little bit scary because you don't know what to expect exactly, but it's exciting because you're going to be learning new stuff, you're going to be experiencing something new and different, right? That's the vibe that I'm getting from divine masculines. It's pretty cool. Okay, lessons for this week. For feminine, I'm not going to say too much more on this. I've already spoken about it. So this is speaking the truth, and most importantly for yourself. That's basically that Mercury retrograde is guiding us towards that introspection anyway, right? Having some honest conversation with ourselves about the heartache, right? This is the second, Three of Swords that we have for feminine today. What is hurting you? What has been hurting you, or what did hurt you that still has its consequence in the present, of why you're not showing up for yourself, or why you're not being open to new opportunities in your life. Think about that. And the more truthful you are, the easier it's going to get to heal and to move on to something beautiful. For masculines, we have King of Coins clarified by Two of Swords. It was kind of on the side, so sort of like in between energy. But what I'm getting with this is divine masculines are mastering the lessons of success and abundance in a way where they realize that not everything has to be logical and make perfect sense from their previous experience or knowledge. Sometimes things work out in spite of some logic being, thrown at it, right? Because there's something bigger than that. And energy works in its own ways. There are natural laws. And even if divine masculines don't know what they are, at least they're being more open. They're working towards being more open towards something other than just logic and calculation to get to where they want to be. It's like that old concept from German philosophy. One of those like classic philosophy concepts was that quantity turns into quality. And it was, I think, proved wrong like as early as like 19th century, maybe early 20th century. That it works for some things, but not for everything, for sure. And it doesn't mean like, in certain things, like we start doing something new and it's not working out very well. We keep going, and we keep telling ourselves like, no, if I put more hours in, if I do it for a few more years, it's definitely gonna come through for me, the success that I'm looking for. But it doesn't work that way. Not in 2022, for sure. With all the social media that we have, with online world where things are presented in very specific ways, right? With how people get their breakthroughs, and the same way how people get canceled in one day to never return again to the big screen, right? It's a different world. So it never really works like that, I would say, right? It's not enough to just put in the hours. It's how do you spend those hours, right? And it's always should be like a learning curve. There should be something new, something different about it. You cannot be doing the same thing for 10 years in like majority of activities and expect that just like that you're going to become the master. maybe in something simple, but the more complex the activity is, the harder it will be to do it that way. And that's a scientifically proved experiment that was done on that. Okay, last but not least, messages from Divine Masculines to Divine Feminines. What would DMs like to tell Divine Feminines? What's going on with them? One want, and I just want space. They feel a very strong pull, like physical pull towards the feminine, but they also realize that there is all this like information, knowledge, and energy circling around in their space, and they need some time and space for themselves to sort it out, to know, like, to understand what it means and what should they do with it. It's also part of the Mercury retrograde, because it's that all that introspective conversation that they're getting and the downloads and everything. What about messages from Divine Feminines? We have, I think we should slow down, I miss you, do you? And I'm sorry. I think it's straightforward, not gonna say much more. Take it how you wish, but definitely, you know, Divine Feminines are also taking time for themselves. Again, it is naturally guided by Mercury retrograde, so don't feel bad about it. Don't feel like you need to explain yourself to anyone, not just to Divine Masculine, about why you're taking time for yourself or you want to slow down, because, you know, you're figuring stuff out, right? But Divine Feminines are saying today that they're sorry if something went down, something they already said during Mercury retrograde that wasn't kind, and that they miss you a lot. Okay, thank you for staying with me today, guys. I love you all, and I'll be back with more readings very, very soon. Bye.